So I've been getting this one question a lot of emails and DMs, and the question is, what do I do, Little? My life is so hard to make a decision, and the question is, film school or no film school? Which one to go for? So the thing is, if you go to film school, it's a huge investment. It takes a lot of money, and if you stay on a different path, it's more difficult unless you know people. It's going to be pretty complicated. So it's complicated, and I've been in both sides of the street. I've been in film school, and I've also worked in the film industry before going into film school. So let me break it down. If you're confused, I've been getting a lot of questions and emails about this decision in your life. Maybe you're young, you just got out of school and then you want to go study filmmaking. Or maybe you've been working for a long while and you want to go back to film school after many years. You're in your 30s or your 40s and you want to transition into filmmaking because now you have savings, you made a lot of money in tech, and you're like, oh, let me move forward with my creative journey. So let's talk about that. So let me tell you what my path looked like, and I think it will help. I did not start with a plan, but I had curiosity and a very low budget. You might be getting a lot of pressure from your family saying, don't do filmmaking, go do be a doctor or be an engineer. I get a lot of those messages. So that pressure is something that's very understandable. I see a lot of your messages stating that. But also you might have people in your family who say, go get your dream, do what you want to do. So there are multiple sides to it. So let's kind of really analyze what the situation is in your life. If you have the will, nothing can stop you. So when I went to film school, it was a different time, and unfortunately I couldn't complete the course because of funding. My family kind of ran out of money to fund it. Obviously it was really hard to make that decision, but my sister was extremely supportive, and I just kind of did it and went back to grinding and hustling and making stuff again, all over again. So if you have the spirit, just do it. Well, let's break it down. Film school versus no film school. So I'm going to write it down and help you understand this a little more better. Obviously, I feel like you're going to meet a lot of friends and a lot of people there and a lot of other humans of your age or above your age. So I would put in the human connection that you're going to build. That would be the first. Okay. So the pro would be, the human connection is one. The best thing that happened was I met a lot of people, I made a lot of friends, made a lot of human connection, and it all helped me learn from others. The next one would be the infrastructure and the facilities that you get from the school. That's going to be a big add-on to the pro. So the facilities that it provides, also the gear, facilities plus gear. Another pro is they will take you through a lot of film history. You'll watch a lot of new movies and you listen to a lot of new ideas plus mentors. Another thing is you could get some leads from a school on where to go work in the industry to an extent. I haven't really experienced that a lot, but I think to an extent you'll find some leads plus maybe a network of connections to find work. And finally, let's give one more pro. You get a piece of paper, you get a degree paper, right? You get a certification. You get a certificate. So these are some of the things, the pros that I can think of going to film school. I dropped out. As soon as I dropped out of film school, I actually went and found some online competitions, and I went and shot some stuff, and I won a couple of short film competitions. That was a sign for me to kind of move forward because I always doubted myself. And when I got $4,000 from that competition, I actually picked up a Canon 7D camera and everything else just kind of moved forward from that. The biggest con about film school is the money. I feel it has only gotten more and more expensive. So if you have the money and you have the time, and it's not going to be too much burden for your parents to take care of that fees, or you can take a bank loan and you know you're going to pay it off, or there's somebody else to help you out, or you're going to do it 50-50, you have some savings, and or if the fees is not too expensive and it's worth doing 1 year program or a 6-month program, yeah, go for it. But if you're going to spend like $50,000 and do 4 years of it and never do filmmaking after that, then probably you could save the money, unless you have the money to spend and you're okay with it. So it's end of the day a personal choice. So another con is there's no 100% guarantee you're going to get a job. There is a chance, but for the money that's put in, you will still have to get out of college and start your day one and rely on finding a job by yourself. Something that I learned the most was constraints. Kept me grounded, and I got my hands dirty and I shot a lot of stuff. Life's barely long enough to be good at one thing, so be careful of what you want to be good at. Put your thought into it, put your brain into it, and if you know you're not going to give up. Sometimes you get distracted. Yes, let's say you're distracted. Distracted is because usually when you go to film school straight out of high school, you're pretty excited to get out of home, and you might be living in the hostel and you have a new group of youngsters who are exactly excited to that level. There's so many ways in college you could get distracted, with the parties, with the people, with the excitement, with all the other things that goes on. But that is also part of creativity, but you might tip the balance. So you got to be very careful of that. The time, the teaching speed, the learning speed is very slow. And by the time you get out and you make a thesis film in your college, you might only make 1, 2, or 3. I feel like it's a lot of time for 4 years to commit to that. But again, if you have the money and the time, you can do it. And then the final con is the quality of education that you get. It's not just from a school and the name, but it's also the people and the teachers who help you build your portfolio. Teachers can make or break your life. Like, they can inspire you or they could uninspire you. So that alignment of finding the right kind of teacher for you, because there are different ways of teaching and learning. If it pockets really well, it's amazing, but you pay a lot of money, you go for this committed program, and then you don't align, or the teacher doesn't align with the way you choose to learn and consume, then the quality is questionable, because quality can be very subjective. They might have the highest facilities and gear and all of that, but that doesn't really assure the highest quality of learning or teaching. That is something is very subjective, and it can get a little abstract sometimes. You might go with high expectations, and the reality might be, for the amount of money you put in, you wouldn't have got the amount of quality you expected. So this is like questionable. But on the other hand, it's not like there's no quality at all that comes in. There's going to be quality of human connection. There might be quality ideas you might come through, but it's all like sporadic. These are some of the pros and cons, and both, could overlap and have different things. This is just a very rough take on me thinking about different pros and cons on film school. So now let's get to the no film school side, which is very exciting. And let's start with the pros. The biggest pro is work experience. There's nothing like work experience, because here there's a quality of getting a certificate, but for the amount of interviews that I've gone for jobs, or people that I've interviewed, I've never asked them for a certificate or a degree. I always ask them, show me the work you've done, or what kind of work have you been part of in the industry. So this really kills the certificate, because you might have a certificate and may not have like great work to show. So work experience has more value. When you start working, you may not make a lot of money, but you could make some money. Like, you'll have some income. There will be a minimum wage or something very basic that could be covered. So if you look at this, money goes out and here money comes in. Maybe the first few jobs you'll have to intern, and it might take a few months for the person or the producer to step up and give you some income. That's a different conversation, how to have that with the producer. But for now, you'll have some form of income. I'll get to the cons later. There's some issues to it. Another pro is you are going to build a resume. Yeah, you'll have like a working resume, which is connected to the work experience, track all the different production houses. That's how before going to film school, I was working for an ad agency and then I worked for a comic company. So I had that work experience helped me get into the school. But then when I went to school, it was so slow, the learning and the amount of money that was going out was disproportionate. So I decided to leave and then go back here, and I continued building my resume. You will network in the industry working. Like what happens is, in this network, when you do one shoot or the second shoot, next thing you know, there will be other people calling you, because in the shoot that you worked in or whatever project you worked in, they will recommend you later in the industry. So slowly people will start getting to know who you are and what you can do. And if you can work in such a way that there's always some kind of value for the people on set in any form, even if it's just getting food on set, getting people to location, or managing the costumes, or getting all the art props to set, like any form of support to come there and be hands-on, people appreciate that and they'll call you back. So that happened to me a lot. So the network in the industry will lead you to other stuff, because the biggest pro in this, apart from the work experience, is I call it day one. You're already on the job. Here, you're going to finish this film school, 4 years, you're going to take time, and then you finish film school, you get out, and then you're back to day one. You got to find a job and work in the industry, right? Here, you just jumped straight into working. One thing for sure I know is you can learn a lot without going to film school, so don't doubt that at all. And it's not that I'm saying that you cannot learn a lot at film school, but learning on the job is just a different kind of experience. And especially with the internet age and the creator economy, it's a great time to just get out day one, start working, creating, instead of depending on a school or depending on parents to pay your school fees. So day one at work. Let's get to the cons. And a lot of these things do overlap, okay? It's not like written on stone. Like even the human connection, you'll build that here, but it takes time here to work with people in a professional environment, and you will learn faster. So in your day one work, you're just ahead of the kids in school, because you're just working, you already start seeing what's happening on set. And I think I definitely had that advantage. Right out of school, right out of 12th standard, I was working for a year, and then I went to film school, and then I dropped out after the first year. So I know the pros and cons from both sides from my life experience, but for you it could be different. So think about it. These are all just lines to think. Cons of no film school. You might miss the college experience. So the college, the film school, university experience, it's its own thing. If you want to have that fun and be around and have that human connection and all these kind of pros, you want the certificate, you'll miss that. So because of that missing thing, you might have a certain amount of discomfort or fear, and you'll feel like, I don't know if I want to take that level of risk to go work in the approach of no film school, right? Actually, and it comes to the next con is you got to know people, right? What if you are not gifted to be that your parents are not a famous actor or a director? Like you don't have anyone in the industry You don't know anyone from the film industry, you don't have family or friends or all of that. So if you don't know people, this route could be scary and difficult. I wouldn't say that should discourage you, because what I did a lot was the internet was still open for me to learn. Like pretty much all of the things that they teach you in film school is there on the internet, like short courses, and there are workshops and classes. I would walk into studios in Bangalore and Bombay, and I would ask, hey, can I meet the manager here? And I would just ask them, hey, I'm looking for an opportunity, I'm interested in editing, can I work here? And the sun came out and the light comes out, right? So there are a lot of people who gave me a chance, and I took that as a responsibility on my shoulder to not let them down. And then they offered me like a full-time job, and I did everything possible, from cleaning the set to food, transportation, you name it, going and sourcing materials, costumes, location scouting, casting, everything. I was street casting, all kinds of jobs I had done in Bangalore, Bombay, Kochi, Calcutta, Delhi, Rajasthan, all of that. So if you don't know people, don't be scared in the con. Just find some courage to walk into studios, write to people, emails, write to at least 3 people every day. And a lot of people I know don't respond because everyone's busy. But don't stop knocking on doors. Next thing you know, some people will give you a chance to work. So don't be too scared about it. People are always looking for people to work in the film industry. And another con is you will be really tested, my friend. You will be tested. And when I say tested, financially, emotionally, physically, people are really going to test you. You're not going to have the comfort zone of paying school fees and, having a great time there. Here people are really going to cook you. Like, people are going to throw you out of set. People are not going to like what you do. They're going to shout at you. They're going to scream at you. They're going to do a lot of things at you. If you can build that emotional willpower and just take it as learning and go through it. I mean, extreme abuse, obviously, you can walk out and say, hey. But you could also find really good mentors who will not kill you, but at some level you need to be pushed, but not like in an abusive way. But I feel like you'll be tested a lot. You'll be broke a lot. You may not have work for a while, and you'll be stressing out over that. And then it'll come to a point you'll have a lot of work. Like, you won't know which to pick. That is also going to happen to you. So you're going to be really tested. And I feel like as much as this is a con, it's also a pro, right? But it's not going to be easy. And when you overcome each hurdle, you will feel a lot more, you'll have a lot more stamina to take up the next big job, or you will feel like you learned a lot more, is what I feel. That's what I feel with my no film school journey. And I was in film school only for like 2 semesters, like a year, because I started working at 17, 18. I mean, from school what I learned would have been less than 10%. And 90% I did this. So I'm like a no film school guy. And every time when I meet a film school person, I learn a lot from them. But also I feel like the work experience, and I worked with all kinds of directors and filmmakers, from music videos, short films, movies, television, documentaries, and it's just so much more you learn here. Working and not liking it, it might as well do this first. So I encourage people right after 12th grade, after school, after high school, try working for a year and see if you like any department, you want to do something here. Then choose the school you want to go to. The time, these are 2 different things, right? Here the time, what I mentioned was, it's really slow pace learning. So time is like slow. So the learning is slow, the time moves slow. 4 years takes a lot of time. So the time here is about finding that stability, the fear and the unknown, right? The unknown is, it's kind of like getting on a ship and going into the sea and trying to see what you're going to do. So the fear of the unknown, you don't know where you're going to be working, you're just going to like go with that flow. Here you have that 4 years time which goes slow to really look in and research and understand what to do. But here there is an unknown factor of how is my life going to be. So if you're an adventurous person and you are limited with money, that's another pro for this one. You save a lot of money, right? You save the money that you're going to put in here. So probably you could buy a small camera to shoot your own thing, and you will have your own time to manage it. So there's a lot of overlap between both. I'm just kind of like throwing things from my mind, and I thought I'll put it on a paper and see how this goes. I hope this helps, because I can only speak from my own life experience. But if I had to break it down into 3 parts, the 3 most important things is, if you choose to go to film school or if you choose not to go to film school, there are 3 things that are the most important, right? I'll write it on the other side. I have a new brief coming up for you. It's going to come out very soon, and you can create something and send it to me, and like always I would watch all of it. I'm going to pick more than one this time to talk to and have a creative interaction and get to know you. So let's keep the community going. So if you're like me and you've dropped out of college, or if you just want to get out and go and just shoot stuff like what I'm doing right now, just do it. So this building, it's a historic building in Pasadena. It's called City Hall. So quick information about the camera that I'm using for this video. I have 2 cameras. Just in case one fails, I have the other. Both have their own pros and cons, like film school and no film school. This is the Insta360 Luna. It's got a pretty cool feature where I can just double tap on my face and then it'll track me. So a lot of the shots of me walking and talking is just moving and tracking me wherever I go. And this particular camera is a larger sensor, APS-C sensor, and it is called the Fujifilm XM5 that I use for images, and it shoots open gate 6.2K. That's what I like about it the most, and it gives you a color space of f-log2, so for color correction it's got a lot more information. And this one is pretty handy. It's got a gimbal. It basically follows me, and it doesn't shake and all of that. But this camera doesn't have a good IBIS or a stabilizer, so both I use it for different shots, and both are pretty compact to carry in a backpack, and that's how I kind of do this. So I just wanted to throw that in if you've been wondering what cameras I've been using for this shoot. Okay, I'll roll. The camera on the left, this camera right now is shooting on the Fuji XM5 open gate 6.2K f-log2, and this camera is shooting at 2.9x, 3x almost, at iLog 10-bit. So you kind of see the difference. I'll just kind of show you. Everything that good happens to you is good, and everything bad happens to you is also good, because you learn from it. So whichever you choose, film school or no film school, this is very important. Like, the willpower to go through that journey, and filmmaking is not an easy task. People from the outside, when they go watch a movie, they think it's very easy. It's made in, like, they watch a movie for like 2 hours, 3 hours, they walk out and they make a comment, but it's like any other industry. It's very complicated. So you have to really have that willpower to stick with what you love doing. If you think you're a person who doesn't have that, then you have to find a way to build that. The emotional willpower, the professional willpower, the the workflows, the late hours, the challenges in communication. There's so much here. The second one is kind of connected. Is you might have the willpower, but you need the drive and the motivation and the inspiration, and you could go up and down. And if you think that you don't have the drive and you like being in a comfortable space, again, filmmaking is not for you. And finally, with the willpower and the drive, what I've seen a lot of my friends that have succeeded well is the most important thing. Yes, the discipline. If you have the discipline to shoot something every day or the other day, and like the discipline to constantly sit and learn and not lose the willpower and the drive, nothing can stop you. You go to film school or no film school, you're going to get to where you want to get to. I think these are the three key factors. These are all internal factors. And finally, whichever you choose, end of the day, it's what you make out of it. You go to film school or don't go to film school, it's all on you. What you do and how you practice and how you train and how you help your brain understand different concepts, and the muscle memory and the practice and the reading and the understanding and watching other movies and learning. So I guess it covers some of the thoughts that were in my mind. And the biggest thing learning from film school or no film school, I think, is life experience. Life experience is the key to being a great storyteller, because imagine if you lived alone and you met no humans and you never left the room. You would know very little about the world to talk about anything. The more you see, the more you hear, the more you're around, the more you feel, you will be a great storyteller or a filmmaker, or at least you'll understand what it is, and you can work with other people who are also great at what they do. The more, if you travel, that'll also change you as a person. If you only grew up in one place, in a village or a town or a city, and you never got out, I would encourage you to just get out of your comfort zone and go see things safely without breaking your bank. So whatever you do, I wish you the best. If you had to make a choice, if you want to go to film school or if you want to work in the industry, what would you do? What would your gut say? I think it's better you write it down and really kind of analyze where your awareness is. So whichever path you decide to take, film school or no film school, it doesn't matter. I think what matters will be if you have the willpower, if you have the discipline, if you have the motivation, and you have the drive. The drive is sometimes the hardest thing to kind of keep going forward. And if you decide not to stop walking and you can find that joy in doing it and not getting bored, then I don't think anything can stop you from creating and making whatever you want to make. So I just wanted to remind you that, like, you may not have the money to go to film school now, but maybe in the future you could. But never think that possibility could not happen, right? Could not exist. I'm saying this from my own life experience. It wasn't there, it was there, it wasn't there. Life is full of ups and downs. So it's just like a movie. It's tension and release. അപ്പോൾ whatever choice you make, അതായത് ഫിലിം സ്കൂളിൽ പോവുകയോ പോവാതിരിക്കുകയോ, whatever it is, like, you keep practicing. You're already on the right path. There's a form in the description. You can download that and you could fill up the question. There's a lot of questions. It's kind of like an awareness tool of where you stand in life, and you could fill it up, and if you feel like sending it to me, I would love to read it and understand what's going on. Don't lose your joy. Everything else will work out. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao. Pagana. Tata.